Do you love mysteries but feel that you've read all the usual suspects? Christie, Sayers, James? Well, then today's video is for you. I am sharing 7 lesser-known mystery series that I believe are must-reads and deserve far more love than they've gotten. If that sounds like something you're interested in, then stick around and let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome to Relatively Refined. My name is Paula. Well, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, then you know I'm a huge mystery lover. And today I'm going to share with you 7 of my favorite mystery series that I think deserve more love than they've gotten. They are lesser well known, but don't deserve any less attention. And I think you're going to want to add these to your bookshelves as well. I'm going to take a sip of tea and we will dive right in. The first series I'm going to talk about is one that I first discovered way back when I was in college. And that was a while ago because I'm celebrating my 40th college reunion this spring. And that is the Brother Cadfael series by Ellis Peters. This series features Brother Cadfael, who is a Welsh Benedictine monk who lives in Shrewsbury Abbey in the first half of the 12th century. This particular book, A Morbid Taste for Bones, is the first in the series. And in this book, the very ambitious head of Shrewsbury Abbey decides that he wants to acquire the sacred remains of Saint Winifred for the abbey. And Brother Cadfael sets out to acquire those bones. And along the way, of course, there is some controversy and people are split about whether or not he should retrieve those bones and bring them back to the monastery. And as is wont to happen in a mystery, the main opponent of retrieving the bones or digging up the sacred remains is found dead, shot by a very strange arrow. Now, some people believe that Saint Winifred herself shot and killed the opponent, but Brother Cadfael knows that it was most likely done by a mortal hand, and he sets out to solve the mystery. I love these books. I love Brother Cadfael, and I'm a huge history buff, so for me it's fascinating to read about all of the ins and outs of the Abbey and just the history of the Welsh countryside during that time. I mean, that's many, many years ago. And the characters that Cadfael encounters and just his kind of wise and calm approach to solving the mystery and his understanding of human nature is really excellent. So I read this one, as I mentioned, many, many years ago, but I recently acquired this from the library because I thought, you know what, it's time for a reread of the Brother Cadfael mysteries. And even though this is typically considered a classic series, one does not hear about it that often. You really don't hear the Brother Cadfael mysteries books, anyway, mentioned all that much. I believe that PBS or maybe the BBC did a Brother Cadfael television series, and that is also excellent. But I recommend that you check out the books. I don't think that you'll be disappointed. Next up are the Father Brown mysteries by G.K. Chesterton. Now, G.K. Chesterton is a fairly well-known mystery writer. However, you do not hear these days the Father Brown short stories talked about all that much, and I think they are wonderful. This, of course, was a BBC or maybe a PBS miniseries, kind of a mystery series, and it's still, I believe, on BritBox. You can watch that on Amazon Prime or BritBox. They're wonderful, and I do love the television series, but I truly love the short stories. They are fun because you can just kind of dip into this when you have a few moments. The mysteries are seemingly insoluble, but they are solved by our main character, who is Father Brown, a very unassuming Catholic priest. And he solves these almost impossible puzzles, not through forensics, but through the understanding of sin, repentance, and the mortal soul. I love Father Brown's unassuming manner. I love the way he just quietly observes and takes a look at human nature in much the same way kind of that Miss Marple does in the Agatha Christie mysteries. So if you're looking for some really fun short stories, then next up on my list of less well-known series are the Father Brown Mysteries by G.K. Chesterton. Next up, and continuing along the theme of ecclesiastical mysteries, we have the Sister Fidelma Mysteries by Peter Tremaine. These mysteries feature Sister Fidelma, who is a 7th century Irish nun and lawyer and a brilliant legal mind. These are so fun. They are just full of wonderful details about ancient Ireland, which is a subject that I absolutely love. And Ireland is a place that I absolutely love. So these immediately appealed to me. And it has such a strong female lead. Sister Fidelma is very sharp, very forceful, and very determined. I love to hear her kind of reason through the ins and the outs of ancient legal ancient Irish law. Very, very interesting. Again, the history involved in this is something that adds to the mystery and does not detract from it in any way. If you are a history buff, then any of the mysteries that I have just talked about are ones that I think you would really, really enjoy. But this one in particular is fun just because it has such a strong female lead. I just checked this one out of the library. This one is called Penance of the Damned, and I'm going to just read you a little description from the inside flap. I haven't actually read this particular one, and I'm excited to do so. Ireland, AD 671. King Colgall of Cashel is shocked to learn that his loyal chief bishop and advisor has been murdered in the old enemy fortress of the Uí Figdente. When word reaches Cashel that the culprit will be executed under new law, a larger conflict threatens. Dispatched to investigate, Sister Fidelma and her companion discover that the man facing punishment is Gorman, commander of the king's bodyguard. Fidelma cannot believe that Gorman would carry out such an act, and yet he was found locked in a chamber with the body, weapon in hand. The evidence stacks up against him. If they are to save Gorman and keep the peace between the kingdoms, Fidelma and her companion must find the true culprit. This sounds so good. I cannot wait to dive into this. It's going to be perfect to read over the Christmas holidays. So again, as I said, if you're looking for a less well-known series that features a strong female protagonist, then the Sister Fidelma books are for you. And as an aside, I do believe this has also been made into a television series, although I'm not 100% certain about that. I will do a little research, and if I can find out, I'll put a little note down here on the screen. But this series by Peter Tremaine is excellent. Next up, we have an absolutely delightful series that once again features a very strong female protagonist, and that is the Amelia Peabody series by Elizabeth Peters. In this series, the protagonist is Amelia Peabody, who is a very wealthy spinster who has decided to use her inheritance for adventure instead of marriage. It is set in Victorian and Edwardian Egypt, which is just delightful. I love anything to do with Egypt. It's so fascinating and interesting to me. There's a lot of archaeology in here, and Amelia Peabody is a fantastic character. She is incredibly intelligent, extremely outspoken, and completely unbothered by any social or societal expectations. She acts the way she wants to act, says what she wants to say, and does what she wants to do. And she's wealthy enough and smart enough to get away with it. So again, if you're looking for a mystery series that features a strong, outspoken protagonist, then this mystery series, Amelia Peabody Mystery Series by Elizabeth Peters, I wanted to say Ellis Peters, but that's Cadfael, by Elizabeth Peters, is definitely one that I recommend that you check out. And it's not one that I hear talked about much at all. And I absolutely love this series. Again, this is one I haven't read yet. This is called He Shall Thunder in the Sky. And it is, again, takes place in Egypt. And Amelia and her husband are once again back in Egypt on an archaeological dig, and they are, of course, involved once again in a mystery and a murder, and will take all of their wit and wisdom to solve. And I really highly, highly recommend this series. So if you're looking, as I said before, for another less well-known mystery series with a strong female protagonist, then add this one to your list. Well, we are moving away from ecclesiastical mysteries and out of Egypt and back into cozy English village life. If you love cozy English village life, then you definitely are going to want to add the Max Tudor Mysteries by G.M. Malliet to your TBR. This is a mystery series that I have not heard anyone really talk about here on YouTube or in anything else that I've read, but it is such a fantastic series. The main protagonist is Max Tudor. He is a former MI5 agent who has now become the village schoolmaster. And so that gives him just enough of an edge to solve mysteries, yet keeps the whole thing extremely cozy. If you love cozy village mysteries, this one needs to go at the top of your list. This book is A Fatal Winter, and let me just read you a little bit about what this says. When nearby Chedrow Castle is the scene of suspicious events, Max must once again put aside his job of guarding the souls of his small flock and turn his attention to solving a baffling case of murder. A raucous group of long-lost, greedy relatives of Lord Footrussell and Lady Baynard have arrived at the castle, and each and every one of them has a motive. Meanwhile, Max's attraction to a local lady complicates everything as he struggles to pit his own contradictory impulses against the cunning guile of a sophisticated killer. Doesn't that sound fantastic? And as I said, this is a wonderful, cozy English village mystery, one that I love, and one that is really not that well known, but should be. So go ahead and add the Max Tudor Mysteries by G.M. Malliet to your list of fabulous mystery series. Next up is a series that I don't actually have a physical book for, but I will insert a picture over here of the cover of a book. Most of these I've listened to on audiobook, and that is the Darling Dahlias mystery series by Susan Wittig Albert. Now, Susan Wittig Albert is a very, very well-known mystery writer. I'm trying to think of what some of her other series are that are more well-known than the Darling Dahlias, but I absolutely adore the Darling Dahlias series. This is a series that takes place in Darling, Alabama during the Great Depression, and it features a group of women who belong to the Darling Dahlias, which is the town's garden club. And there's not one main character. It really is an ensemble cast. There's young Liz Lacey, who is a secretary to an attorney in town. There's Ophelia Snow. I think she manages the general store. But it's just a fascinating cast. And it's, you know, small town Southern living, which I absolutely love to read about. And they have all of the titles reference some kind of a flower, and there's, I think, the Darling Dahlias and the Cucumber Tree is first in the series, but they just are fantastic. And I would encourage you to read them in order because there is some character development that happens over the course of the series, and, you know, relationships that form or dissolve, people who change jobs and have different roles, but it is just such a delightful series. And it is, I would say it is kind of like a cozy mystery, but not as cozy as a super cozy. I guess it's maybe cozy adjacent because there is some drama and some more darker kinds of themes that run through it, but still a cozy and delightful read. So if you are familiar with Susan Wittig Albert, I think she writes a series that has to do with dogs. Oh, I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'll put it down here anyway. But this is one that I don't feel gets a lot of press, and I think it's one of her best series. So again, it's unique in that it's kind of an ensemble cast. There isn't really one main character, although I guess Liz Lacey is probably one whose perspective we hear from the most, but it's often told from different perspectives through letters and so forth, and maybe newspaper articles and things like that. Just such a delightful series. So go ahead and add Susan Wittig Albert's Darling Dahlias mystery series to your list of lesser well-known but very, very good mystery series. And finally, my last recommendation for less well-known mystery series is the Dublin Murder Squad series by Tana French. Now, this is interesting and unique because each book is told from a different person's perspective, a different investigator's perspective. This one, The Searcher, is told from the perspective of Cal Hooper, who is a retired Chicago police officer who has moved to Ireland to fix up a cottage in the Irish countryside. And he reluctantly gets involved in the search for a missing person. One of his neighbors, one of the young men in the neighborhood's brother has gone missing, and so he arm twists Cal Hooper into getting involved in solving the mystery. Now, these are less traditional whodunits and focus more on kind of a psychological drama and some police procedurals. They also have a tremendous focus on the Irish countryside, Irish culture, Irish society, and as I mentioned before, I do love anything set in Ireland or about Ireland. So I found these very, very good. I forget the name of the first book in the series. It is not this one. If I can think of it, I'll put it on the screen here. I'm not sure that you have to read these in any kind of order since they are told from different people's perspectives. I presume that you don't have to. So if you find one, I feel like you could probably jump into this series at any point. It is excellent, very, very good, very kind of psychologically and dramatically interesting, as well as culturally interesting in terms of the descriptions of, Irish society and Irish culture. So my last recommendation is the Dublin Murder Squad series by Tana French. That is going to do it for my lesser well-known mystery series that I wanted to recommend to you. I hope that you found some new series, maybe ones that you hadn't heard of before or you had heard of and wondered about whether or not you should start them. I think all of these series are well worth investing in. I really enjoy a good mystery, and sometimes it's nice to break outside the usual suspects, as I said in the intro, the Agatha Christie's, the Dorothy L. Sayers, the P.D. Jameses, and check out some other less well-known authors. That's going to do it for today. I want to take this moment to wish all of you a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. My sisters and I truly have enjoyed spending time with you throughout 2025, and we look forward to lots more time together in 2026. Tomorrow will be Wednesday, and we will have our final video before Christmas, and that will be a home tour of my sister Kathleen's Vermont farmhouse. So be sure to tune in for that. We wish you a very Merry Christmas. We wish you lots of love, happiness, and prosperity in the new year. And we will be back with videos right after the holidays are over. In fact, we may even be back before then. Who knows? We may be inspired to put out a couple of videos in between Christmas and New Year's. I'm not sure. But at the very least, we will be back the first week in January. All right, everyone, take good care of yourselves. If you enjoyed this video, as usual, give it a thumbs up. Drop a comment down below. Do you have any series that you would recommend to me? I'm always looking for new mystery series. If you made it this far and you don't want to leave a comment, go ahead and drop an emoji. How about a Christmas emoji, since this is sort of the final run up to Christmas? All right, thank you again for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. It means so much that you take time out of your day to spend it with me and my sisters. That's going to do it for today. Take good care of yourselves. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I will see you very soon. Bye-bye.